Another day, another chance to expand our palates. Welcome to episode 3 of Random Blends. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bourbon Hutch, and thanks so much for joining me on this journey through the world of whiskey. So that's right, today is episode 3 of Random Blends. If you haven't seen the first 2 episodes in the series, highly recommend you go watch those. They'll give you a little recap of what we've experienced so far. But just to give you a general overview of what we're trying to accomplish here with this series, basically it's an attempt to expand my palate and try to put together whiskeys that we wouldn't otherwise think to combine. One way we're doing that is spinning the whiskey wheel. So we've got 14 whiskeys up here, ryes and bourbons. So we're just gonna spin this wheel and it's gonna randomize for us 2 whiskeys to put together. So far we've had 2 actually really solid blends, and that's been a great streak. I'm always a little bit worried that the potential is I'll get one of my favorite whiskeys and one of my least favorite whiskeys, and we'll have to see how they mingle together, but that's all part of the fun as well. Before we do spin the wheel, just want to ask real quick that if you're liking the content coming out of the channel, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. Got the goal now to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2022. We're gonna do a really fun giveaway once we get to that point. So if you haven't already, hit that big red button. All right, without further ado, let's get our first whiskey on the board. Cheers, everyone. All right, Redwood Empire Lost Monarch, and that's a really interesting one because it's already a blend of bourbon and rye, a Boo Rye. So we're gonna see how that mixes with whatever comes up next. So we've got a first whiskey on the table, Lost Monarch, a Boo Rye. Second is gonna be Jack Daniel's Triple Mash. Okay, we've got 2 quite complex mash bill combination things going on. We've got a Boo Rye and a Triple Mash whiskey. So this is gonna be really interesting. I enjoy both of these separately quite a bit, but we'll see how they blend together. All right, so now we've got our 2 whiskeys for the day out on the table. First going into the blend is the Redwood Empire Lost Monarch from Redwood Empire, a distillery out in California. It says that it is a blend of straight rye whiskeys and straight bourbon whiskeys aged at least 3 years. Proof on this is 90 proof, so 45% alcohol. It has a lot of good citrus notes, orange, lemon zest in there, but some darker notes from the bourbon side too, which I really enjoy. And then second, we've got the Jack Daniel's Triple Mash, which it says is a blend of bonded American malt, rye, and Tennessee whiskeys. It is bottled in bond, so it's 100 proof, 50% alcohol. On this one, I got a lot more like red fruits and a little bit of that malty, honey, vanilla characteristic from the malt. So it's gonna be really interesting to see how these 2 blend together. Okay, everyone, we have let this new blend sit for about 10 minutes now, and we're gonna dive into the nose, palate, and finish. Really interested to see how this comes out with so much complexity going into the glass. All right, let's check out the nose here. Cheers, everybody. Ooh, interesting. A lot of vanilla, a little bit of banana, probably from the Triple Mash, the banana. I get that a lot on Jack Daniel's products. There's this sugar cookie note that's really prominent sort of at the center of it. It's like a doughy, sugary cookie kind of smell, like baked dough. Really nice. Little touch of ethanol, so still present even after 10 minutes. A little bit of a bright red fruit in there too. Yeah, but I'd say the most interesting thing is just this like sugar cookie, doughy, sugary blend in the center of it all. Wonder what that's coming from. I feel like that's probably the Triple Mash dominating a little bit, but some of the darker elements of the Triple Mash might be lightened up by some of the Redwood Empire perhaps. In any case, it smells nice. I mean, that, I just can't believe it. It's like honey too. There's a lot of honey in there. These both have honey presence. So like a honey drizzled sugar cookie with maybe a little bit of cherry mixed in and some banana. Really good, really good. I don't feel like these have clashed in any way or haven't complemented each other well. I do feel like the citrusy notes from the Redwood Empire are mostly lost, although that sniff there, I Got a little bit of a lemon, so maybe it's emerging, but I do really enjoy the like citrus punch of the Redwood Empire, and I feel like that's not really here. And that nose for the Redwood Empire Lost Monarch, I mean, it's all citrus and vanilla, so that's sort of been muted, but a really nice nose overall. Let's get into the palate now. First sip, everybody. Cheers. Interesting. Okay. So a decent amount transferred over from the nose. So that sugar cookie center is there. There's that like vanilla, potentially doughy, a little bit of burnt sugar on top kind of experience. And some honey as well, the same things I was picking up on the nose. But what's underneath that is this like, imagine that cookie was burnt on the bottom. Like there's this barrel char presence that I think probably the triple mash is bringing to some degree. So it's like this bright, sugary mix, and then there's this darker strain underneath. It's nice. I would say that the triple mash, if I had to base it on my memory, the triple mash is dominating the blend a little bit more than the Redwood Empire. There's a little bit of rye spice that the Redwood Empire might be bringing, though the triple mash has some rye in it. So to me, it feels like the triple mash is sort of like 85% of this blend, and the Redwood Empire is a little bit of it. But let's go back in for a second sip, see what we can pull out. Cheers. Okay, so again, I don't get much of like the orange zest that I would get a lot on the Redwood Empire. I do get a little bit of lemon in the back end, and I think the finish, as I let that linger, it turns a touch citrusy. But again, it's sort of this overall sweet, doughy, malty experience in the center. A little bit of burnt barrel char in there, and then some of the fruitiness is probably from both, presenting, you know, this bright red, a little bit of banana. It's a good blend. I wouldn't say it's, as I evaluate it now, like better than either one of these on their own. I think they might both have a little bit more punch on their own, but it's certainly not anything offensive and actually quite good. Let's go back in for a third sip now. Let's think about that finish, evaluate that. That's often a very important part of blending. Like, do you cut the finish off or does it linger even longer? So cheers, everybody. Okay, so I would say that the finish is moderate on this, not super long, but not super short either. It does go generally sweet with some vanilla and maybe a little bit of that banana sticking around. And then there's this like sharper, spicier lemon zest thing going on that I think the Redwood Empire, the Lost Monarch, is bringing to the table. I would definitely say that that sip was the tamest, and a lot of that barrel char wasn't quite there. So it's maybe my palate's acclimating, but it's also getting a little bit more muted, which can happen with a whiskey. You can sip it and over time it can become a little bit duller. So this blend might be lacking some staying power, if I'm sensing that correctly. Let's go for one more sip just for the heck of it to see. Okay, well that one had a touch more spice, but like I said, I do think it's starting to get a little bit generally sweet and hard to pick out some flavors. But that finish again is nice. It's spicy, a little lemon zest, and sweet core to it. Okay, so overall, I think we got to give this one another pretty decent thumbs up. I wouldn't say it's a bad blend at all. I do think that one thing I'm noticing as it develops a little bit is that it's getting a little bit more just generally sweet and hard to pick out the flavors. Maybe these two will mute each other over time, but the complexity that goes into each of these bottles matches pretty well together. And I think the really nice sugar cookie and even like a burnt sugar cookie note with some burnt sugars and stuff like that, I mean, that's a really nice core to have. And I think if these two together produce that, I gotta at least give it a decent thumbs up. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me again on this journey to expand our palates. This was another fun episode of Random Blends. Episode 3, we'll keep doing this, we'll keep expanding our palates, we'll keep trying new combinations. So far, I think we're pretty much 3 for 3 in ones that I generally enjoy. Let me know in the comments below if you've tried any blends lately, or if you've ever tried your hand at putting together different whiskeys and what the results were. Want to hear how you guys are doing in that journey as well. Until I see you guys again for another video, all I can say is keep drinking good whiskey, keep expanding your palate, and cheers.